Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Well, I'm going to continue with my series of just looking at some of the books on my shelf, my favorite books, talking about how they relate to role-playing games and just why I like them, and kind of ramble on a little bit. I felt like I really kind of did Glory Road a little bit of injustice, talking about being a murder hobo. There's a lot of other stuff in this book, and Scar wasn't really a murder hobo. He was somebody that was driven to adventure, had to adventure. But I'll talk more about this book some other time because it's a great book. Heinlein, one of the masters. But today I'm going to talk about the Demu Trilogy. I've read this book so many times, the covers fall off and everything. F.M. Busby, 3 books in here, even though it's small, it's a trilogy. Cajun Man, The Proud Enemy, and End of the Line. Just great book, has a lot of great concepts in it. The Great Race, which is not the Great Race of Lovecraft, and the Demu, and that unstoppable Barton. And what I want to talk about is being that unstoppable Barton, using your head, not using your brawn. And your physical capability. Certainly, our unstoppable Barton, our hero, has had some strength and all that kind of junk. Definitely fought his way out of some situations. But for most of this book, this guy uses his head. He uses his head to escape imprisonment. He uses his head to convince people to join up with him and put himself in a position of influence. And then uses his head to finally go back to his old captors, the Demu, and I'll get to the Demu in a second. And instead of playing shoot 'em up and try to take him on, which would have ended disastrously. Even though he's teamed up with a few other races and a group of humans, some of who in the military actually turn on him, and I don't want to ruin the book, but he uses his head there too. Instead, he's able to do a real classic kind of espionage, sneak back in, find something that would strikes these Demu where they live, at their heart, and would bring their civilization toppling down, and is pretty much able to convince them to stop without firing a shot. Pretty cool. Guy used his head. Even though he wasn't a wizard, he wasn't an academic. We'll get back to that and character creation. So, what are the Demu? Well, the Demu, I first got introduced to this book and those creatures through Barlow's Guide to Extraterrestrials, which, if you remember my video about The Thing that I made some time ago, was a book that had a whole bunch of illustrations in it. Had an illustration of The Thing. I watched The Thing movie. I was so freaked out that I gave my book to Andy Buchan. I don't have it anymore. I was probably 11 or 12 years old. I want my frickin' book back, but I'm probably not going to get it back, so I'm going to have to buy a new one. But you can find them on Amazon. And Barlow did some other guides too. Great artwork. Just brought like books to life, like the creatures in the book. Did something for like Fire Time, Mountains of Madness. God, I can go on and on. The Demu Trilogy, obviously. I think Childhood's End. Great picture of the overlords in there. But I digress. So, the Demu, these kind of chitinous, kind of not crabs, but kind of have that crab type skin. In fact, Barton threatens to eat one and keeps on saying crab salad. Pretty cool. The Demu are like these humanoid in race. They're spacefaring. They think they're the only true Demu, the only true, I guess you would call it human, but the only true, real, enlightened, race. So what they do is they, capture other races, see if they'll learn their language. If they do, they say, great, you can be Demu too. So they surgically alter them to make them Demu without anesthesia. It's pretty freaky. So of course they want him to stop, And Barton was able to do just that because he's the unstoppable Barton. He's unstoppable. And why is he unstoppable? I did that little thing with the ubiquity, talking about ubiquity, and I just kind of talked about maybe doing some random character generation, and having 2 in every stat, and then rolling, 3 dice, see where you put the 3 extra points. I rolled up all the mental stats, I was like, okay, does that mean I would have to play a wizard or a, I don't know, bard or whatever, some kind of charismatic or something was like, no, I could play a warrior archetype. I could play, I don't have to play an academic. I could play, whoever I want to, and I could play a plain old adventurer like Barton, like Scar from Glory Road. I could play either one of them. Being intelligent and having like some charisma and willpower, I don't necessarily have to have high stats or attributes, and and let's talk about D&D too, or Lamentations of the Flame Princess. It's the same stats. I don't necessarily have to have them high in that to play smart, but I certainly doesn't hurt, if you want to play up your character that way. But I'm a big fan of playing smart. Figuring out other ways rather than just bashing around. So, sure, there's times you just want to have a good old time and play a little bit of a murder hobo and have some. That's not necessarily murder hobo. Have some freaking combats and beat the crap out of somebody and kill some orcs. That's fine. But other times, you can win so much through guile and trickery and just being being smart, thinking your way through the game. And certainly that's what Barton does the whole time. So it's a great example, of somebody that's certainly physically capable, but realizes that like it would be stupid for him to go in guns a-blazing. And this is one of these schisms in the hobby. It's something, a schism between like say a low power game like something like Lamentations of the Flame Princess, or even like a lot of the Ubiquity ones. You're not superheroes by any means. It's pulpy, but you're not superheroes. And something like the D20 Modern Pathfinder camp, and I'm not picking on them, but at some point you get 8 levels under your belt or whatever, you're pretty freaking badass. And at some point these characters can walk right into a thriving civilization like the Demu or whatever and kick their butts. However, and there's a great blog, and I forget who did it. I have to go look it up because I really kind of made me, sit up sit attention to me, like, wow, that's great stuff. Where he talked about, the old school. I hate to use that term, but like games are really into like ruins, and why? And one of the reasons is, well, we can take that kind of stuff on because the societies are degenerate. They're past their prime. We're dealing with the vestiges of whatever is left. If we went into, the Elder Things City in the Mountains of Madness when they were at their height, we'd get our butts kicked. They'd have us for breakfast. But at this point, maybe we find a couple, maybe we run, here and there, and maybe we really strap on our Nikes and run like heck when Chagas come. But it's survivable, and we still get to sneak around, and through guile and trickery, maybe we'll make it. But it's not something that we'll really, we sneak into that society normally. And the height of that society, they'll find us and kill us. So that's why we like to sneak around in ruins. But certainly in this novel, the Demu Trilogy, Barton was able to sneak in, and he did, and managed to win at the end. So yeah, I like playing smart. And so that's a lesson I take away from the Demu Trilogy. So you can be that unstoppable Barton too, and that's pretty freaking cool.